20 months 20 months shows the following pattern which the production manager expects to continue in the future. Adverse variances of 10% of the future standard variables cost occurred in 10 of the 20 months. Nil variances occurred in 6 of the 20 months. Favorable variances of 5% of the standard variable cost occurred in the 4 of the 20 months. Number 2, fixed costs have been 400 shillings per unit at an average sales level of 20,000 units, but are expected to rise in the future. The following estimates have been made of the total fixed cost. Number 4, the demand estimates at the two proposed selling prices being considered are as follows. They're listed. Required, based on the information given above, advise the management of Makazi Limited on whether they should change the selling price. Indicate the price you would recommend. Number 2, the expected profit at the price you have recommended in Roman 1 above and the resulting margin of safety expressed as a percentage of the expected sales. Number 3, comment on the method of analysis you have used to deal with the probabilities given in the question. Explain briefly how the use of a computer program would improve your analysis. That's the question.
Yes. You are through, eh?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much for taking us through the question of June 2005, question number 3. Now, as I told you in our previous lesson, anytime you read these kind of questions, you need to identify where the question belongs. Number 1 is to know the environment. Are we in the environment of certainty or environment of uncertainty? Now, in this one, we are in the environment of uncertainty. We are in the environment of uncertainty. Why do we say we are in the environment of uncertainty? Because there is mention of the word probabilities. You can see there are several probabilities there. Number 2, you need to know whether you are dealing with a single product or multiple products. In this question, we have just one product, which they are calling a hedge trimming tool. So it's a case of single product. It's a case of single product, CVP. Case of single product, CVP. Now, once you have defined that way, you are able to know the formula to use. So let's look at what they have required. They have said, based on the above information, advise the management of Makazi Limited on whether they should change the selling price or not. So for us to advise on whether they should change the price, we should use, this is a decision-making situation, the criteria that we are going to make or to use for us to make the decision should be the profit. So the decision criteria should be the profit. So how do we get profit? We start here by saying that the expected profit is supposed to be given as the contribution margin multiplied by the expected sales, you minus the fixed cost. You minus the fixed cost. That's how we go about it. Now, how do we get contribution margin? Contribution margin is the selling price minus variable cost. The selling price minus variable cost. But as we can see here, the selling price, we have various selling prices. We have the selling price of 1,600. We have the selling price of 1,700 and the selling price of 1,700. Those ones are not changing. What is changing is the variable cost. So we will need to come here and say this is the same thing as the price minus the expected variable cost. The expected variable costs, because we can see the variable costs are changing. Now, recall that when we want to get the expected value, we want to get the expected values, we say it is, maybe, let me just go straight. We will need to get the value of the variable costs. We are told the variable cost is 1,000 shillings per unit. And the analysis of the past 20 months shows the following pattern, which the production manager expects to continue in the future. Maybe I need to remind us this formula. Remember this one, the expected value of X or X bar, it is given as sum of Xi multiplied by probability of Xi. Maybe you can take note of that. And also remember, this is what we call the X bar. So ukiona X bar, it is the same thing. I think it's good you remember that. So you take the value multiplied by the probability. And remember, probability is usually given out of, is given as the desired, you divide by the possible or the total. That is the general formula of probabilities. What you desire, you divide by the grand total. That is in QA, but for now you can just get that one. So having secured that, we are told that it can change adversely by 10%. So when costs change adverse, they increase. So it is the 1,000. If it increases by 10%, it will be 110. So that will be 110 out of 100. That is the new variable cost. And this is going to happen in 10 out of 20. So the probability will be 10 out of 20. That's the first one. Then we come and add the second one. We are told there will be nil variance. So if there will be nil variance, it means it will still be 100 out of 100. It's not changing. And this is going to happen in 6 out of the 20. So 6 out of the 20 months. And then we are told that there will be favorable. So if it's favorable, ni kumaanisha itapungua. So it will be 95. 1,000 times 95 out of 100. And this is going to happen in what? In 4 out of 20. 4 out of 20. So work that out and be fast. As I can see, 1040. Let's go to the next. Tunaambiwa the current fixed cost have been 400 on an average of 20,000 units, but are expected to rise in the future. So that means I will need to get the expected fixed costs. The expected fixed costs. The expected fixed costs will be equal to 8.2 million multiplied by 0.3 plus 8.5 million multiplied by 0.5 plus 9 million multiplied by 0.2. So that will give us the expected fixed cost. So quickly work that out. It's 8.2 times 8.5 or 0.3 plus 8.5 times 0.5 plus 9 multiplied by 0.2. You're getting what? 8,510,000. 510,000. Higher. What else do we require? I need now, in the next information number 4, I need the expected demand. The expected demand at the price of 1,700. At the price of 1,700 is 21,000 multiplied by 0.2 plus 19,000 multiplied by 0.5 plus 16,500 multiplied by 0.3. So let's multiply that and give me the answer. 21,000 times 0.2 plus 19,000 times 0.5 plus 16,500 times 0.3. Give you answer. 18,650. Those are the units that are expected at the price of 1,700. The expected units at the price of 1,800 should be equal to, the units are 19,000. You multiply by 0.2 plus 17,500. You multiply by 0.5. And then we have 15,500. You multiply by 0.3. 0.3. So using your calc, you get 19,000 times 0.2 plus 17,500 times 0.5 plus 15,500 times 0.3. You get 17,200. 17,200 units. 10,200 units. Higher. So I think I have everything I require for this formula now. So if I have now like this, I have the price in shillings, and then the expected profits. The expected profits. We even do it like a tabular presentation. So there are three selling prices that we want to decide on which one. So there is a selling price that has been mentioned, Hukoju, at the beginning, which is 1,600. And there is another one of 1,700. And there is another one of 1,800. So using this formula, this one, the expected profit is the one that we are computing. The expected profits. The contribution margin here will be 1,600 minus the variable cost of 1040. You multiply by the expected sales units. They are mentioned in information number 2. Information number 2, that is 20,000. Then you less the fixed cost of 8,510,000. Ukikuja hapa, you do the same, 1,700 minus 1040. The units at 1,700, they are 18,650 minus 8,510. That way. And then 1,800. You minus 1040. Multiplied by 17,200. Minus 8,510,000. 8,510,000. So let's get the workings. So 1,600 minus 1040 times 20,000 minus 8,510,000. So the answer that I'm getting is 2,690,000. 1,700 minus 1040 times 18,650 minus 8,510. 3,799,000. 1,800 minus 1040 times 17,200 minus 8,510,000 is 4,562,000. So going by that, it is very, very clear that we advise them. The data to advise them on whether they should change the selling price. And we indicate, so we'll tell them to change the selling price. Change the selling price from shillings 16,100 to shillings 1,800. So the one of 1,800 is the one giving us more profit. The one giving us more profits. Okay, so I think that is good. The next one is the expected profit at the price you have recommended and the resulting margin of safety expressed as a percentage of expected sales. So we already have computed the profit. So the expected profit at the recommended price, is shillings 4,562,000. Although that is a repetition because you already have gotten it there. So having said so and done so, they require us to get the margin of safety. So when you are in the case of Sigos, margin of safety is given as X minus XBE. Minus XBE. So at that point, our X is this one, 17,200. 17,200. Oh, we need to get the break even. So before we do that, let's first of all get the break even point. XBE, when you are in the case of Sigos, it is given as F divided by contribution margin. It's given as F, you divide by contribution margin. So our fixed cost is 8,510,000. And the contribution margin is 1,800 less 1,040 shillings. That is what will help us know the break-even point. So when you take your calc, useme 8510,000 divide by, open the brackets, 1,800 minus 1040. You get 11,197.3. But as I told you, units are rounded up. You can either leave it this way, but professionally we would recommend you say 11,198 units. Because the 0.3 cannot be a unit. 0.3 cannot be a unit. Okay. So with that, let's now get our MOS. Our MOS is X. X is 17,200 minus 198. So 17,200 minus 11,198. 6,002 units. 6,002 units. So as a percentage, we will get MOS, you divide by X, then multiply by 100. So our MOS is 6,002. Divide by our X, which is 17,200 times 100. So 0 divide by 17,200 times 100 is 34.9. 34.9%. 34.9%. Now comment on the method of analysis you have used with the probabilities given. So utaandika hivi. The method is called expected values. Expected values with point estimates. Expected values with point estimates. Expected values with point estimates. So now, these are the expected values. That's what we are calling it, the expected values. Point estimate ni hizi tulikuwa tumepewa hizi. They are usually 3. Finally, explain how the use of computer program would improve your analysis. So there, you are expected to tell us the advantages of using a computer, which I believe you know so well. I believe you know what are the advantages of using a computer. We are through with that question. We are through with that question. I want to give you a similar one. You do, and I keep on telling you, you submit your work so that you get the solutions. If you don't want to submit your work, then you buy my revision kit, which has the answers. It goes for only 1,500. 1,500. I'm looking for a question similar to that. I hope no one is wishing that I don't get it. The similar question, similar. Nimejificha wapi? Yes, I've seen it. Good. May 2015. May 2015. Question 3B. May 2015. Question 3B. So please look at it. That would be good. That would be good.